the store.
Well, there's a lot of people who do 16-inch blocks because I have to do like 4 of them. I knew a lady that was the only kind of thing she did. Way before I could
Are you gonna have this chair?
I'll grab one.
I don't need one.
You sure?
Yep.
You can't smell her seat. She said she could. I can't wait. There's 2 right there.
And what is renting it?
There we go. Lucy's down.
I've been doing other stuff, but this is.
Now that I'm in the power scene. Where's my coffee?
Okay. You gonna hold up your show and tell for everybody? Welcome to AccuQuilt Club. No?
I will. I just,
Okay.
if you haven't tried the whatnot, you need to. Because they so much fun. And they don't take long. They don't take long. They're so much fun. So I brought them because
They're so little. Yeah, that 4-inch cube. Oh my God. Oh, that's funny.
so trying to figure out how to quilt.
It's a good scrap buster.
Yeah, it is. Perfect for ball quilts. But these are
Or table runners or placemats or.
whatever. But me, I'm just playing. So
Neat.
So Pat brought up a good comment. And her comment is, I don't know how to quilt them. And this is not AccuQuilt, but we segue into a lot of extra stuff here. So anytime you have a quilt that's very geometric like that, it's good to use a quilting pattern that has a lot of curves or movement. If you have a pattern like that has a lot of open space, and I stippled those, use a geometric pattern. It makes it, so a good example would be the circles quilt out there. So a lot of wide open space, very curvy pattern, geometric quilting pattern. So always do the opposite of what your quilt is, and it always just works, and it kind of balances out the harshness of the lines in a geometric quilt. So if you look in this one, the one that we're doing, I used, it's called Tossed Pumpkins. I think that's the name of it. And so it's very curvy and got a lot of movement in it, so it softens up the geometry of the quilt. So I had people come in, they have a geometric quilt, they want to choose a geometric pattern. We try to talk them out of it and then get it back, and they're like, well, I don't really like it. There's nothing wrong with the quilting, and they're not really sure why. And that's why, because you're looking for something to offset those straight lines. So, good point to bring up.
Yeah.
This month, you brought one too? Let's see.
No.
All right, somebody's, do you want me to hold it up?
No.
Okay.
It's his idea to do this, not mine.
Make her do it. Yeah, the back is Minky. This is a gift for our 4-year-old neighbor.
Oh.
And it's upside down.
We haven't finished pinning it yet.
Has not been bound yet.
Oh, gorgeous.
So, in the colored areas is clamshell.
Okay.
Kind of what
Yep.
you were saying, where it doesn't follow the.
Mm-hmm.
And it
The
goes
actual
with the
chocolate.
theme too.
Yep.
That is so of the.
Oh, you got little
Animals.
turtles
Yeah.
and
Oh,
It's-
yeah, he digitized
thing.
all those little animals. Embroidery. Love it.
Well, it's
Where'd
actually
you find your
from.
little animals?
I digitized them from
did?
for the long arm.
Did? Oh, good.
It's not embroidered on a machine. It's on the long arm,
Oh, wow. Wow.
which means that there's an awful lot of jump stitches in there.
Yeah.
it's beautiful. You
Cute.
did great.
So there's a lot of cutting on the back before some little toe decides to.
Yeah, there's a lot of strings, aren't there?
Yeah.
We have to, he just cut it off today. Cut it off the machine.
thank
Yeah,
you for
but
sharing.
don't
That's
leave.
beautiful.
But that is the first quilt that I've completely made with the AccuQuilt.
Oh, well,
Yeah, can I throw out my mea
And I've
culpa
had it
here?
for 2 years.
sure.
This was actually the second one I quilted. So in the evening session, if Jody doesn't bring in her quilt, ask her why not. Because she may have not picked it up yet, because they made the same exact quilt.
Oh, cool.
Same fabric.
Nice.
Coincidental. That's so funny. Yeah.
Just by chance. You made the same
Well,
quilt, same fabric.
We had bought the fabric.
Was it a
to
kit?
It was a selection, I guess. And when we were still waiting to figure out, all right, exactly which pattern we want to make this quilt out of, then Jody came over and said, I got this quilt, can you quilt it for me? And Laura's like, that's the same fabric. So somebody was a little bit of a copycat.
Yeah, a little bit. No, I am.
It happens. It happens a lot. Like with the simple whatnots, there's going to be a dozen or so people running around with the same little quilts. So what did everybody think of the cutting instructions? Well, it is a lot to cut, but
I would have sworn I didn't have enough fabric. I would have sworn I didn't have it. I called and I said, I'm not going to have enough fabric. And she goes, just be patient, continue going on. And I had to come get it. It was fine.
yeah.
It was fine. It was that diamond.
Yeah.
Because I
the
did.
background.
Yeah.
That's about, because it said 2 strips, but you needed
Yeah.
3.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
John gave me the idea of when you had a couple of the strips, and instead of fan folding each
Yeah.
one, put 2 together because it takes less fabric. I think I got
Yes.
another whole thing off of an end of the strip because when
Yes.
you fan fold it, it just takes more.
Yeah, so like on the diamond, that's not one that we fan fold. I'm trying to see which.
I can't remember which one it was, but he goes, well, why are you doing it that way?
So, written instructions like this, or the grid like the previous patterns?
Oh,
This
This.
was okay for me, but
Okay.
and the fact that
it
you
just
start
I
with
just
the
went
first
down
one
the road.
first and
Yep.
then
I had to number the
I marked.
number them.
I did.
I did this.
marked everything.
Because I could, oh, yeah.
I did too.
Just my
I did too.
Yeah.
Well, I did that part so I could number my little
That's right.
bags too.
That's half on my days.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Noted. So moving forward, we'll probably use this method. It actually,
Whatever's easier.
yeah. I'm a visual person, so I kind of like the grid where it shows you, okay, the colors. But this takes up less space on paper and, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't hard, I don't think. It was just, you know, it was a kid, you had to write. It was just the one that was short.
Yeah.
And there's quite a bit left out.
I think I did the same thing. So what she was talking about, John gave the
Yeah.
suggestion, lay it all out. So with the fabric, with the triangles, you lay it all the way out instead of having it folded and then rotate. But
Yeah, I just rotated in single. Rotated was really, yeah.
yep.
These are all the scraps. Amazing.
Okay. So this month is all about flying geese.
Okay.
I like them.
They're not my favorite.
I like them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So some people love them. I think they're beautiful in a quilt, and I'm going to do another quilt with flying geese, little trees and houses. So look for that coming up because that'll be an AccuQuilt project as well, of course, right? So on the green side, so you're going to make some that are going to be extras. Let me turn my camera so people can see. So, since we're on the theme of flying geese, you're not just piecing the trees, you're also piecing this as well, right? This little border here, this one, and then the trees. So,
Are we only doing the 2 red ones? 2 red,
yeah, there's only 2 red
and then the other ones are.
half square triangles.
I mean, we're not doing that whole long thing.
No. We're not doing the whole long thing. We're just doing the flying geese. I really like this block with the offset flying geese. I think it's going to be fun. And I like how it turned out to me, that one looks more like flying geese than just the rows of flying geese. You have everything cut out. So if you are at home, there is a mistake in the pattern, and I will email you the corrected page. So for people at home, found a mistake at the show. Somebody brought it in and said, "Hey, this doesn't seem right." It happens.
On these blocks? Or
I
something
fixed it.
else?
It's on these blocks, but I
Okay.
fixed it.
You fixed this one
Yep.
already?
I fixed it already, so nothing to worry about there. So everything should be correct. And any questions about this month's pattern?
You know, those ones that are going this way could almost be used as like fish.
Yeah, you could.
You know, they look like fish.
Put a little eyeball down in the
Yeah.
corner. You got flying fish. Question.
Yeah, we stopped to pick up a pattern, and I guess still needs to be printed up because she didn't already have one for her.
What's your name?
Lafferty.
Yeah, I'm guessing I didn't take one on.
But when she gets it, is it gonna be fixed in that one or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it'll be fixed. Did you get the cutting instructions then? No. Okay.
She hasn't done anything
Okay.
except the last week of staying up all night.
Yeah, the cutting took about 4 hours, so.
Wow.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, it did take a minute to cut it out.
Yeah.
I did cut out the whole thing when I was doing mine because to me,
It's easier to do.
I really want to just get the cutting out of the way and then sit down and sew, right? So most of the quilts that I make, even if it's not an AccuQuilt pattern, if I have to convert it to AccuQuilt, so if I was doing these, I would be like, how can I cut this with AccuQuilt? And then I would get it all cut out and then sit down in peace because I don't want to jump up and down. So
She likes it the other way.
I love, oh, I don't like that at all.
yeah,
Somebody got it for me sometimes. But I had to split my cutting up into like 3 days because I
You
couldn't.
can't stand there for
couldn't
4
do it
hours.
that long.
yeah,
I mean, even, I couldn't imagine cutting this out by hand,
Oh, me
you
neither.
know,
Oh,
especially all at once. I mean, I've
it would
done
be very
this
confusing.
before, making quilts, cutting it up by hand before I could quilt. But I always made one block, you know, cut one block,
Yes.
sewed one block, cut one
Yeah.
block, sewed one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it didn't seem like 4 hours of cutting, even though it probably was 6 or 7.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so there's no right or wrong way. Whatever works best for you is the right way for you. So what I do may not be for everybody. And so I try to avoid, because I don't really enjoy the cutting. It's easier with AccuQuilt,
Oh, yeah.
but I would not have made that quilt if I couldn't cut it out with AccuQuilt. Actually, I don't really, I like to do machine embroidered quilts. So the piecing for me isn't quite as enjoyable as that because I really don't like to cut and I don't like to do the math. And you see it in my patterns. Sometimes there's a mistake. It's because I'm working on them late at night. And,
Luckily, I have a cutter. My daughter actually.
I actually like cutting.
nothing wrong with
it.
I have been for years. In fact, being her assistant is kind of how I got back into quilting. Because when she tried to teach me how to quilt when I was young, and I got mad because I couldn't hand stitch as well as she could the first time. So I said, well, I'll never quilt again. I'll never sew again. And I didn't for 10 years. And then in 2000, she said, well, I'm going to this quilt retreat and I need someone to come press fabric for me. I went, well, if I'm going to a quilt retreat, I'm going to make a quilt. So she hooked me back into, yes, I have cut out many quilt patterns and turned them into kits for her.
Yeah.
So that she could.
She's lived in Africa for the last 13 years, and so I always had her cut like 5 or 6 quilts out for me before
When I would
she
visit.
The African fabric is cool.
Yeah, it is.
Aborigine.
Yeah.
It's very cool. We have lots of very amazing fabrics. Totally different from the kinds of fabrics we get here in the States. Very, not a lot of small calico style prints. It's all big, bold,
Yeah.
bold colors, bold designs.
I noticed there was one you at the quilt show.
There was a gal from Uganda, or who had stuff from Uganda, and I'm like, I looked up. I have that fabric. I've made something with that fabric. That's really funny because I could point out. I went, I know that one. I know that one. My sister-in-law has a dress out of that one.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of sources for ethnic prints in the United States.
Unlike here, where fabrics change every few months, there you can buy the same fabric for 20 or 30 years.
Wow.
Because when they get a design, if it's popular, they
They
just keep making it, because the styles of dresses that they make and stuff don't change that much. And, you know, you go to a wedding, and if they've done them in, it's called kitenge in Kenya. If you have a dress made out of that, if they do the wedding party, they might go through 15 bolts of it. So they make lots and lots of it, and they just keep remaking it over and over and over again. So you may not always find the exact same fabrics, but if you wait long enough, it'll come back.
Yes.
Unlike here, where you might find a reproduction, no, it's actually just the same print, same everything. Maybe a different color, maybe a different colorway this time, but it's the same design. You see it over and over and over again. And that's one of the differences between the fabrics in Africa and the fabrics here.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed that you said that is the same as it is you said, I have that, I have that, I have
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I made something with that.
Actually,
So that's
I
us.
actually
We have it,
most
we
of
have
my
it, we have
fabric
it, we
behind
did.
because I could not bring. I gave 2. Okay, you know the big moving boxes that you can get at Home Depot, the ones that are like 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot.
Yep.
2 boxes full of fabric, full of that. I sold 1 box of it worth of it to people in my quilt mill there, and the rest of it I donated to a charity there. Because I brought very little of my own fabric back. Mostly what stuff I had already in process, or things that were kits that were ready to go. Anything that I didn't actually have in process was something I just couldn't afford to bring back.
Yeah, here it is, we can get M&S textiles, and it's Aboriginal fabric. And really there's not sources for ethnic fabrics at all.
So if you see them, you better buy them.
If you see them and it's appealing, buy it, because all of our manufacturers are doing little calico prints, right? So we just don't see them, and there's only one supplier, and it's different. So
I saw one fabric at the quilt show that I was like, I have that fabric in my stash, but I bought mine 30-some years ago. But the fabric, the muslin it's printed on, is totally different muslin than what was printed on 30 years ago.
yeah,
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
in the States, it was, the one I have, it had to be washed many times to get really soft, and that one was really soft, but it was the exact same print. And so you do find, reprints of things that were popular.
yes.
I think especially the blues, I don't know. Seems like a lot of
I think it's like clothing. It just circles back around.
Yeah.
So, but unlike clothing, you can buy that fabric again.
Yeah.
You can't wear the same fashion you did when you were 20.
So next time I or my kids go back to Kenya, I'll have them bring fabric back, and
Yeah.
you guys can look at some of it.
All right. Any other comments or questions about our pattern?
Wait, start.
Yeah. It'll be fun. We finished this one in October, so I think pretty sure. Okay.